The greatest drawback of moving forward on deploying electric buses, I don't think there are any drawbacks. I can't think of any drawbacks. I guess the drawback for the old combustion engine manufacturers.
A year and a half ago, I moved to DC to study environmental policy. After working for an organization that studies alternative fuel use in the DC region, I learned about DC's pilot program for electric buses. I spoke with some experts to find out if this is the future of America's public transportation system.
We cannot achieve our climate goals without addressing transportation. It represents a way to reduce local air pollution as well as to really make a commitment to reducing greenhouse emissions in our transportation sector.
Transportation accounts for 27% of all greenhouse gas emissions in the United States. That's why many environmental advocates say that shifting to electric vehicles is essential. And the way the landscape is trending, it seems like EVs are going to be the way of the future.
There is great excitement. The performance of these vehicles is very, very good. You have very low maintenance because there are just many fewer parts. The battery performance has been getting better and better, and as I said, the cost has been dropping a lot. I think it's important to recognize that internal combustion engines are only about 10% efficient. We do so much better with electric motors.
Could you explain the 10% efficient, how you get that number?
So you get only a tenth of the energy out that you put in to, through fuel, through gasoline or diesel.
Many cities are starting to realize the benefits of electric vehicles. Washington, D.C. is a leader in the adoption of electric buses into their public transportation fleets. Eric Belmont runs the DC Electric Circulator bus program, and he sat down to talk with me about how it's going.
So right now we're starting an 18-month pilot. We'll be testing their range and their capabilities. We just got 14 electric buses and put them into service, so we just want to see how they work. What we will be looking at over the course of the pilot in the life of the electric buses is how much do they cost when they operate them. Electric buses don't have to deal with as many parts when it comes to having an engine like the diesel buses. They don't have as many liquids. So that's what we're going to be looking at in the pilot. How much is it going to cost to fix them? How much is it going to cost to maintain them?
Compared to diesel buses, the upfront cost for electric buses is much higher. However, projections show that the overall cost may balance that out or even save money over time.
There are costs currently associated with the diesel buses that we won't have to worry about when it comes to electric buses. Mm-hmm. For example, I mentioned a diesel engine. It's massive. It's this giant block of dozens and dozens of parts, and if any of them breaks, you need to replace them. With an electric bus, all you have is the motor. It's this big. It's got 3 pieces. 2 people could probably pick it up and take it out. One thing we're going to be looking at is specifically where we get our power from. Long term, we'll be looking at making sure that we get our power from a sustainable source. So not only are we having zero emissions from the tailpipe, but we're getting zero emissions from the source of electricity.
While electric buses have zero tailpipe emissions in a city, the electricity generation to charge them still creates greenhouse gas emissions. The emission levels are still less than an internal combustion engine, no matter the source. Being a regular bus commuter, I especially care about how electric buses reduce air pollution's negative effect on people's health.
We also want to see how the buses positively impact people who ride them, and in neighborhoods especially that are at risk of negative externalities from diesel emissions.
Researchers have found that diesel exhaust was linked to higher rates of mortality, premature death, brain disease, cancer, asthma, and more.
A big part of our pilot is to analyze not just a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, but a big part of it is particulate matter from diesel emissions. A big cause of lung-related health issues from buses and from diesel particulate matter. So we're really going to be looking at what a significant difference that has in our communities. So yeah, that's a big part of it. We'll be measuring that throughout the year. Software. It's a huge difference compared to diesels. We're looking at technology where software controls everything. Not only the way the buses drive, but the way they charge with our chargers. This is an example of getting used to a new technology, and it's another example of how we're going to have to think about electric buses in a different way than diesels.
Adapting to new technology is a universal problem, but some cities may face challenges getting their electric bus programs funded in the first place. Rick Nuno studies the policy issues surrounding electric buses.
Well, they need infusion of cash to pay for the initial investment in the electric buses. The FTA has been withholding money that was appropriated by Congress both in 2017 and 2018 that could have potentially been used for these electric buses, as well as other public transit projects. Just because they don't like public transit, which is not a very good reason.
This may seem like a no-brainer, but political support is crucial to getting these new electric bus programs off the ground.
Say we had a lot of support from the mayor's administration, from local organizations, and from DDOT's administration as well. It's one of the major objectives of Mayor Bowser, and in fact our director Marusian, that as part of our sustainable DC plan, all of our buses would eventually be all electric, and we would have a transit fleet with a reduced carbon footprint. No, nobody's come to us and said, I wish you hadn't bought electric buses. I could say we've received a lot of support, not just from the administration, but from DC residents.
People who have any experience with electric vehicles or buses, they always really are positive. I mean, that's been my experience every time I've talked to anybody.
I don't think there are any drawbacks. I can't think of any drawbacks. I guess the drawback for the old combustion engine manufacturers